Hey everyone, Livy here, back with another video, and today I am going to do something I think that's very exciting. You guys might have different opinions on this, but anyways, the deck in question we are going to be looking at is called Ask Your Guides, Oracle Cards by Sonia Coquette. As it says on the box, it is a 56 card deck and guidebook. Now, I don't want this to be... This isn't a full walkthrough at all. I want to kind of explain why I got this deck. I will flip through the whole deck quickly, but I mainly want this to be a video because I want to share why it's important to buy Oracle decks a little bit that actually go with a lot of your tarot decks. So this video is mainly to, oh, this is the back, and it is mass market by Hay House, so it is $24.99 USD, $33.99 in Canada. And the reason why I got this deck, plain and simple, is that this is a deck that I know is going to go with a lot of my tarot decks. So this video is kind of like a flip through, but at the same time, it's also a playing with pairs video because I'm going to show you all the decks that this deck immediately reminded me of. And therefore, I had to get this deck because it goes with so many decks in my collection. But the backs look like this. This is the guidebook. I will briefly show this guidebook. Has some intro, and then it gets straight into every single card. As you can see, every single card has the name, the number, the name, keywords, and then a big paragraph to talk about it, and then a message to you. It's very interesting, but yeah, that's not too much in this guidebook. There's no spreads in this, but let's go into the deck itself. 56 cards. These are the backs. The card stock is definitely not the greatest. It is on a cheaper side, I can tell, but this doesn't feel completely awful. It's like slightly smoothed down, but it's still matte. But it's not that nasty, not 100% that nasty like cereal box texture. This is slightly better than that, so this is fine. I can use this deck. I don't have problems. But just so you know, that's the texture. It's not the greatest. It also is bigger in size. I have smaller hands, and this deck basically takes my whole hand. So there is that. If this deck had any more cards in it, I don't know if I'd be able to use it. But as is, I am. And this deck, let's start from the top here. I'm going to quickly just flip through the cards. I'm not going to give my opinions, really, because I really want to talk about the pairs more. But each card has a keyword, and then it talks about, like, some of these cards are, like, guardian angel cards. Some of these are for your higher self. Some of these are helper guides, teacher guides. It's just a lot of different guides. I guess it's a big theme of this deck is that ask your guides, like the different parts of your life that are trying to direct you. But anyways, let's get into the cards itself. This is prayer, deceit, leap of faith, support, closure, caution, adventure, solitude, epiphany, truth, decisions, pause, change, leadership, clearing, teamwork, invention, creativity, exhaustion, work, disruption, unconditional love, boredom, growth, goals, balance, purpose, new life, loss, survival, shadow, forgiveness, rest, deprivation, denial, abundance, celebration, restriction, perseverance, pleasure, life force, surprise, charity, limitation, ending, overthinking, self-love, success, opposition, connection, bounty, retrieval, rescue, freedom, ease, and lastly, community. Beautiful. Now, I will attempt to shuffle this deck. We will see how well it shuffles. That I don't know. And as you can see, the colors of this deck are bright. This is a bright deck. This is very bright and big and fantastic. And part of the reason why I got this deck, oh, it shuffles very nicely overhand. I don't riffle shuffle, so overhand, perfectly fine. But anyways, the reason why I got this deck is because as soon as I saw it on sale, it was on sale on Hay House, I immediately thought of the next deck I'm going to show you as a playing with pair, perfect pair, okay? I immediately saw this deck and went, oh my God, I finally found it. I finally found the perfect pair for this deck. And I think it will be, because the issue I had, the gap in my collection, was I did not have an Oracle deck that paired well with my brightly colored tarot decks. And that made me very sad, because obviously you want to be able to pair an Oracle deck well with your tarot, but if you don't have one, then how are you supposed to do that, you know? So, I realized that this deck would go with a lot of decks. And so now most of this video is going to be a playing with pairs, where I show you what decks I think go with this. And we're going to start with the most perfect pair. So first here, of course, we have our Ask Your Guides. But you would be correct if you thought that the perfect pair for this deck was this one. This is the Dream Vision Tarot. This is the second edition. This is the indie edition. Or indie. I mean, this deck is all indie, but this is the second edition that has this coffin style box. This is the edging. Familiar. These are the backs. Also familiar in color. And these are the fronts. When I saw this deck, the Ask Your Guides, I knew 100% that I had found the Dream Vision Tarot's perfect pairing. This is the perfect pair. Other decks in this video will be also great pairings with this deck, But this is the perfect pair. This is the one I know I'm going to be probably pairing the most with the Ask Your Guides. So let me show you why. The colorings of these together were like they were a match made in heaven. I don't know how... I don't know. I'm surprised this is not from the same creator. You know what I mean? How perfectly they go together astounds me. It is beautiful. It is vibrant. It is... These two decks have such similar vibes, similar art styles. It is incredible. And that's not even factoring in the keywords, because this deck has some great keywords that are well balanced, in my opinion, of both good things and the things in life that are more difficult. They are honestly the perfect pair. But it doesn't stop there, because I knew this deck would be perfect in my collection, because it also has quite a few other decks that go with it. So I'm going to start with decks that I think go with it the most, and then those that I think might go with it, but I haven't tried yet. So besides the perfect pair of the Dream Vision Tarot, I also realized that this deck would go very well with this one. This is the Eldritch Overload Tarot. I know, this is cyberpunk fantasy. How the hell does this go with this, you're thinking? But let me show you. These are the backs. Interesting. Similar. And these are the colors. I don't know. I don't know how to tell you how perfect this goes. Like, hello. Like, look at even this. Hello. Perfect. I finally found an Oracle deck that has the same brightness as my most brightly colored tarot decks. I don't know how else to explain how magical that feeling is when decks go so well together. It's just incredible. I didn't realize I even had such a gap until I found this deck. And it made a puzzle piece click together so fantastically. I just cannot believe how successful that is, how great this is. Because, wait, you know what I mean? Because, wait, there's more. It's just very exciting. But yeah, Eldritch Overload is also a very good pairing with this deck. If you also are like me and own the Queer Tarot, you are also going to have a great time pairing this with this. Let me show you. These first off are the backs. This deck is also kind of chunky though, so that's the only thing I caution. But I cannot even tell you how perfect this is. Like, oh my god, how is this deck so good to pair with all these bright decks I have in my collection? I didn't even realize I had such a gap. Yeah. Until I saw this deck and knew this is exactly what I needed. And I didn't understand that I needed it. But I did. And this works very well. This is, I mean, they're not, obviously, I think Eldritch Overload and Dream Vision work obviously more like cohesive with it, but these work very well together. They're not like, I wouldn't say they're 100% fighting. So I am just like tickled pink, you know? They go very nicely together. Very, very nicely together. But wait, there's even more. It's like there's even more decks. But yeah, like look at how colorful. And then look at this deck. Oh my god. If you guys are like me and you didn't realize that you had so many colorful decks and you're like, well, what Oracle would I ever be able to freaking pair this with? Might I suggest this one? Wow. I just cannot, I cannot believe how lucky I got, you know? And this is mass market, guys. This is cheap. Cannot believe how many decks it's pairing up with. Now, another one I think is going to go very good with this one is this one. This is my Spark and Pen Tarot. Oh, my cat is coming. She might take up residence. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to move stuff around because if she's like hanging out here, then I want her to have space. Anyways, these are the backs. Very bright and colorful again. And these are the fronts, which are also very colorful. Like, I can't even make this up. You guys are seeing this, right? You're seeing how beautifully these decks are pairing with this, right? This is perfect. This is perfect. Oh my god, I'm losing my mind. But like in the best possible way. This is like definitely joy. I don't know how else to explain how beautiful this is. And I'm just showing you the cards. Like, I'm not even showing you, obviously, like some of the keywords attached to these, because some of the keyword pairings would also be great, right? Like the six of wands, but then you also have solitude, right? Like knowing when to like enjoy your victory, but take time alone. Or like decisions with the 8 of Wands when you have to act fast. Like leap of faith with the Queen of Cups. It is just so cool how colorful and bright this works. Deceit and the 10 of Swords. Like it just works so perfectly. I can't believe my luck again. Like how a deck like this pairs with all these beautiful, colorful decks in my collection. Now, the next couple decks I'm going to show are decks I suspect will go with this, and that's also why I was very excited about this deck, but I'm not 100% certain, but we're going to find out right now, basically. So the next one I'm going to show is the Spacious Tarot. Oh yeah, I have the expansion also in this deck, so that's why there's like 2 guidebooks there. These are the backs that also go with the deck, funny enough. And these are the colors. Okay. Truth and the 9 of Cups. 5 of Swords and Boredom. Interesting. Virgo with Exhaustion. Sagittarius and Work. For those who don't know, some of these cards, the expansion deck, the expansion of the Spacious Tarot includes, oh, this is powerful. 4 Pentacles with Disruption. Interesting. It includes the Zodiac cards and then some other ones. It's like a Minchiati, basically. Elder of Pentacles with Purpose. I think these aren't 100% go, but I wouldn't be 100% opposed to these either. I think they're very similar in vibes. Like, especially the spaciousness card and this invention. Like, they go very similar together. So I'm not opposed to this either. I think this pair works. Wow. I think this pair actually works for me. I like this. Child of Wand and Leadership. That is so cool. And Change and the 8 of Wands. That's really cool. Okay. And this went through, but I have more pairs to go through. So I think the Spacious Tarot in it actually works a bit. I'm surprised. We'll start again and we'll get another deck. I think another pairing I'm very tempted to use with this Ask Your Guides happens to be... Oh, see, that's also... I don't normally do that. I'll have to fix this box. I think another one that will go with this is this deck. This is the Carrot Tarts Tarot. This is a Kelly Bear bag. Not bag, like case. I don't know. It's one of these. These are the backs to the Carrot Tarts. And this is the front. Very colorful, as you can see. So this was also something where my brain went, do these go? And I think the answer is yes. It's slightly, this deck, the Ask Your Guides, has slightly brighter hues than Carrot Tarts, because Carrot Tarts has a lot of hues, but it's also more pastel-like. But I kind of like these. I think these still work because this deck needs something bright to go with it. And so I kind of like these two together. And I had a feeling. They were going to go well. But to see it in action is just where it's fun. Again, I don't think this is as perfect of a pair, obviously, as the Dream Vision Tarot, as Spark and Pen, even, as Eldritch Overload. But obviously, these work together, and that's because they're both very bright colored decks. So if you, like me, have a bunch of bright colored decks, once again, this is probably a very good option for you to get your hands on Ask Your Guides. Granted, if you don't like this style and the way it looks, I would also understand. But if you, like me, felt like you needed more oracles, and specifically oracles that would actually work with your decks, I mean, why not consider it, you know? But yeah, this is Carrot Tarts Tarot. Does go well with the Ask Your Guides. These next three that I'm going to show, I will say, feel the most... What's the word? They feel the most uncertain. Like, I don't know if these are going to go. We're going to find out together. But I just wanted to test them out. And so, yeah, that's what I'm doing. So let's look at those. The first of those that I want to test out is this one. This is the Prisma Visions Tarot. This is specifically in a tin, as you can see. This is the tin version. I love the tin version of this deck. Don't have any other, but this is the one for me. These are the backs. This is a smaller deck, and obviously this is a bigger deck, but the colors of this deck are also kind of brighter. Despite having some darker ones, it has some brighter ones. So I suspected they would go together, but we're going to find out. I'll move the cards out of the way just because they're like, yeah. So far, similar colors. So I think that could potentially work. Eight of Wands, Charity. Obviously, if you had the full size of the Prisma Visions in this deck, that would 100%, I think, make it more apparent that they work. But sometimes I like pairing small decks with bigger oracles too, especially if the colors match, because you get more of a sense of the oracle as being the more important message, with the tarot taking more of a backstage. And sometimes that's kind of what you want. And oddly enough, these go really nicely. The Six of Swords with Overthinking. I think on some level this actually works. It's just very the Empress with Success, Nature Spirits. That works. That's funny. Ooh, and look at this card. Five of Chalice with the Bounty. Interesting. I think it's just like seeing how, um, I mean, they're not 100% a perfect pair, but I like them paired together. It's kind of cool. I'm digging this. Okay. Prismavisions. Well, you could also, I mean, pair this. If you're somebody who likes to pair multiple Oracle together, I would also urge you to think of what Oracle decks like have good pairings. But I'm just showing Tarot and Oracle because I personally am someone who likes to do just one Oracle with one Tarot, and that's just who I am. I don't like to make things too complicated. But anyways, let's look at another deck. This one I'm definitely not sure of, but I want to pair them anyways just to check. This is the Lillifer Tarot. These are the beautiful backs. The backs go with this, but the fronts is a little different of a story because this deck, as you can see, has more white space in it. So I kind of want to explore to see if I like the idea of these paired together because I'm not always a fan of white space. I do with the Lillifer Tarot, but I don't know if I'm going to like the white space of this deck paired with this. And so far, what I'm seeing here, some of it kind of works, but I actually don't like these together. I think what it is that the Lillifer does have bright colors, but this has more warmer tones, whereas this is like slightly more cool toned, and then it has, I mean, these cards kind of go together. Oh, obviously, Goals and the Knight of Wands. But this deck has a lot more white space to it that I'm not sure I'm liking right now paired together. Like, these would be an okay pairing, but I'm not, like, this has more pinks in it, and this deck doesn't really have much pinks. So, I think similar, but like I don't like the white space of this paired with this. I don't know. I haven't found a deck I 100% like pairing with the Lillifer. I think I do like Spread Crafters with it, but that's not an Oracle. I don't use it in that way. So I don't know. I'll have to think about the Lillifer, but not really fan of that one. So that was the most unsuccessful. This is the last one. I just have a feeling they might go together, but I don't know. So we're going to try it. This is the Starseeker Tarot. I, as you see, again, have another more mini size of it. This is the Pocket Edition. These are the holographic edging, which goes, and the backs that go. But let's look at the actual cards itself, because this deck has white borders. And it is smaller in size. This deck already actually has its own pair, the Starseeker Oracle. But I always like to see if there's like different decks I can pair it with, obviously, especially if I want to use this one in the same month that I'm using some of these other colorful decks. So let's see. We have Prayer and Ten of Cups. Okay. Temperance and Deceit. Nine of Swords and Truth. Interesting. I thought these could go better together. But what I'm noticing is that this deck has more of a darker cast to it. So even though it's like kind of similar and does have like brighter colors, I think this deck is too bright for this one. That's the vibe I'm getting. Because this one's more muted and has more of those darker tones. So I don't think they're 100% a match for each other, unfortunately. But that's also why we checked this. Because out of all these decks that I showed, let me count here, but there's a lot of successes, okay? Two of these decks, I would say, were not successful. So Starseeker and Lillifer, I do not want to pair. But the rest of these decks are amazingly paired well together. So, to bring this total together, one deck has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 different decks that can go well with it. That is impressive. Impressive. 7 decks. Because, you know, a lot of decks don't always work well together. Some oracles you have, you might find only go with 1 or 2 of your decks. But the fact that this one goes with at least 7 confirmed different decks is amazing and fantastic. So, yay, 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 yay. Best times. Best fun times. And if you have any of these decks, or you have a good chunk of these decks, I highly recommend this one. So I'm actually going to close it out. I'm going to close this out here and say thank you for watching if you have so far. And I will see you again next time. Bye.